to Tyman On Tap. This is our first episode of the new season. Very cold out. We have a great musical guest tonight. They're not actually going to perform in the studio. The board is being lame.
Why? What happened?
The board doesn't think we can have bands the night of. Like, we need to pre-record them and edit them and do all that stuff.
Pre-record it?
Yeah.
You gotta go live with that.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
All right. So once we have some graphics, I'll start introducing other things that are actually important to the studio. I apologize to my guests for being so unprofessional. Usually we're a lot better than this. We are typically a lot better than this year, Jared.
Yep.
Yes. I don't even have a producer right now. He's just like...
Yes.
All right. Okay, so this is Tyman On Tap at WPAA in Wallingford, Connecticut. You can call in at any time at 203-265-6310. You can hashtag Tyman On Tap at symbol Tyman On Tap TV show. Is that correct, Alan? All right. Check your phone, Alan. Check your phone.
Do it now.
Please check your phone, Alan. All right. So, yeah. So tweet us, call in on us. Watch us either on channel 19, channel 18.
Channel 18 Comcast 99 on Uverse.
Yes, navigate to us. Watch us on the web, WPAA.tv. You can find us at any time. And this is a Time and Ramble. That's the name of this. I had to introduce my show, Alan. People don't know what they're watching. Alan, go back to that last slide. Go back to that last slide. No, other slide. Okay. Jared, what's wrong with that slide?
It says 1.
No, what's
Oh, it says T-Pick. T-Pock? What?
Tupac's long lost brother.
Oh. Okay.
All right. So, this is usually the time where we talk about current things going on in the world of the Tyman On Tap. I think we might go to a quick PSA because I don't know what we're doing, Alan. We're very discombobulated. We're doing random stuff.
Oh, so this is kind of like
This is the opening monologue of my show.
This is Tyman On Tap's Russian roulette. You don't know what's going to happen.
Yes. But call in at 203-265-6310. We do have a lovely guest tonight. We will introduce them shortly. Once I'm convinced that everything's working, we will introduce them. Until then, we will not. We do have Jarrett. Are you going by Jarrett today? Or are you
yes,
going?
why not?
Why not?
We won't go by that alias.
We were going to have Harold Bixby in the studio tonight, but he got detained.
Detained by the cops?
Yeah. Crystal meth, they catch up to you.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, so he's somewhere upstate now.
Fishing trip?
Yeah. Well, we're not New York State, so I mean, upstate doesn't really mean the same thing in Connecticut.
He got transported back to New York and sent upstate.
Yeah, I guess so. Alan, did you ever check your phone? Guess not.
All right, time to go inside that control room and Gibbs slap him.
Yes, please slap him so we can have some sort of communication between the booth and back. Typically, I would have some interesting stuff to tell you, but okay. So we haven't. So we're just on a break. We missed the last 3 weeks between the holidays. I hope everybody that's watching this holidays were good. We still have some holiday setup in here. I was running a little late today. I went to a cool developers social in New Haven. Yes, and I don't even have my producer because he's talking to somebody. I can't hear you. Jared, look at my phone for a second. Yes. Here, take this. Give this to Alan. So, all right. So we had 3 weeks off, and now we're going to do a new revamped show. We have a website in the making. We have a bunch of guests lined up for the next year. We're going to cover a bunch of different stuff. We're going to be less technology-oriented, more just general stuff. We've had bands on before in the past, and we'll have more bands in the future. We have a great band tonight. We're going to talk to them. We're going to ask some questions. I believe we have a clip of some of their music that we're going to play. We're going to have a nice feisty question and answer segment. Actually, it's not going to be feisty. It's going to be pretty tame. It's going to be softballs. It's not going to be tough.
Phew.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm not Mike Wallace. You guys aren't Ayatollah Khomeini, so I'm going to go easy. But yes. So, we're looking forward to the show. We got The Awakening on tonight. Can we cut over to them, or the camera's not working?
Hold on.
Okay, I apologize for introducing the band without actually being able to show them. Guess, The Awake... Do you spell check? Do you spell check? okay, we have to. It sounds like it's some city in like Vietnam. Like what is that? So we have the Awakening. Do you want to cut to them or no?
Trying.
All right.
It's camera 3. Go to camera 3. There's the Awakening, everybody. Hey,
what's up?
hey. So you guys want to just briefly introduce yourselves? We'll start over with you in the blue plaid, and we'll just move over to your left.
I am Brian, and I play guitar and sing for the band.
I'm Mark. I'm the bass player.
And I'm Brandy, and I play guitar and sing.
So you guys do not have a drummer?
Not presently.
Okay.
We're in the market for looking for a new drummer.
Yeah, but we're still, going strong and, working on a few things, so we're not, like, at a standstill right now.
So you're like the White Stripes, but instead of missing a bass player, you're missing a drummer in your rhythm section.
That's correct.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, hey, Ringo Starr quit the Beatles during the White Album, and it came out all right, right?
That's true. It's a true story there. Yeah.
Yes. So how did you guys all meet?
Well, we met, actually, I met Brandy through church. We all went to church together. This guy I knew from birth because this is my nephew.
Oh, okay.
So, we're family. So, that's how we met.
So you're kind of like a LMFAO, like the
Yeah.
nephew and
Yeah.
uncle type of thing going on.
That's
I
right.
didn't know that, actually.
Yeah, they're bearing Gordy's children.
Oh, all right.
know that.
Wow. I learn something new every day.
I'm great for useless facts, so you could probably hear a few of them tonight.
That's kind of not our genre, so we probably wouldn't know that.
Yeah, you're not to electronic and dance music and things like that.
Yep.
Techno and all that stuff.
Yeah. So what would you describe your musical taste? Like how would you describe yourself as a band? Like what type of music are you?
Well, we have kind of all different styles that we add into the band, but we call ourselves sometimes groove metal, but it's kind of like hard rock with a little metal mixed in there, so that's what we go under.
So you say metal, it's kind of a loaded term. Like what type of metal band are you? Are you like Motorhead or like even Led Zeppelin or like industrial metal like Marilyn Manson? Like what type of metal are you?
It's probably more hard rock than
Yeah.
metal.
Okay.
There's just
More
like little,
3 Days Grace, Breaking Benjamin.
Okay.
Those kinds of
Red.
bands, yeah.
Bands like that.
So what do you think of what bands, the genres that you perform? What do you think really has influenced you as musicians to kind of perform the music you're performing today?
Well, I mean, we all have, individual taste in bands that we love, that we take inspiration from. And me personally, I'm a huge fan of Alter Bridge, Red, Skillet, and Breaking Benjamin. Those are bands that I personally look up to. And how about you?
Yeah, same for me. I mean, I know my nephew started off with Skillet, really enjoying and listening to them, and we went to concerts together. Actually, all three of us had gone to concerts. But mainly, I would say 3 Days Grace and Breaking Benjamin and Alter Bridge are, big influences on our style, and we emulate them. We try to kind of come across with that kind of sound in that genre.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any bands you like?
No, it's similar.
Okay.
Pretty similar.
So you talk about a lot of like heavier rock bands. What about other types of like maybe other types of rock or maybe other types of music in general? Do you ever pull from any of those guys? Like, do you ever listen to like I don't know, like the Kinks and be like, man, I should incorporate something like this, or like or maybe some like folk music, like man, this like guitar is good, or maybe we should try to do something different. Like, or is it all just like, man, I need to listen to more hard rock and like hear all the bands that are doing this genre and see how we can make this genre better?
No, I think, we pull out from other genres too. I know Brandy over here is like a big fan of folk music and all that stuff. And I like some pop music like, One Republic and all those guys. So, we try to incorporate as many different kinds of things as we can as a band. So it's, we just don't stay in the same genre all the time.
Yeah, that's how we get our own feel for what we want to accomplish, and mixing a few bands together so we don't sound so generic like everybody else's bands.
Yeah.
We want to stand out as our own style, like most bands. Like, as you know, the 90s were the grunge, and the few bands that were really accented that genre stood out, and they set the precedence for that style of music.
It's funny you mentioned grunge. I was reading an article about how post-grunge is probably the most successful subgenre of rock and roll since power pop in the 60s. Like, there's not been more bands that have followed a similar style since, like, basically since the Beatles and all those other bands were coming out in the 60s, like that same type of very commercially viable rock and roll music that they had with the two guitarists, the bassist, and the drummer.
Exactly.
So it's like, it's very, like, you have a whole generation of the 90s, I guess until today, of all these musicians sounding kind of similar, like it's different. But, like the Foo Fighters, Bush, all these other bands that like people like, well, they sell a bunch of albums and people like them as artists, but they're still kind of the same thing. You know?
Right,
Yeah.
right, and that's what we're trying to,
Yeah.
get a feel for something to stand out and be a little different.
Yeah.
Our lyrics also have more positive influence on. They're not a negative, setting. They're more on a positive base, and uplifting, and more geared to help people, not bring people down.
Yeah, and it's not like the Misfits and talking about like killing babies and stuff like
Right,
that.
exactly.
No.
We're nothing like them at all. We're the total
Yeah.
opposite of that.
So how did let's start over? Start from I guess the youngest member of your band, and let's work your way this way. Not implying anybody's older on this side to say that he clearly is the youngest member, but how did you get into music? What other than listening to music, and everybody listens to music, but how did you get into playing music?
Playing music. Well, this is a funny story, and I think I forget exactly what age, but I think I was around middle school, maybe 6th grade. I'm a senior in high school now, but actually started with the School of Rock, the movie with Jack Black.
Okay.
Funny story, and
Cello, you got yourself a bass.
and just one night it was on TV, and after it, the guitar really appealed to me. He had these young kids, rocking out, playing guitar and all that stuff. So after the movie was over, I went up to my parents' room and was like, hey, I want to start guitar and all that stuff. And I actually got an acoustic guitar for Christmas that year, and I started taking lessons, and it just, kept going from there, and, it's been fun, so.
Yep, that's pretty much it. That's
Yeah.
a true story there. Actually, it's ironic because at Christmas I found them the School of Rock DVD, and I had to get it for him because it was
Memories.
appropriate, because that was the beginning of his start of his music career. I started music basically in grammar school and middle school and stuff, playing instruments, and got away from it for a while, and then years later got into playing drums for a while, and then got away from that because my parents didn't like the loud noise, obviously, of drums. And so I took a break for a while, and then just, basically kind of had like a dream just to get back into playing, and I had a dream of playing bass, and I met Brandy, and then as you know, my nephew here was playing, so we all kind of got together and decided, hey, let's give this a shot and try to put a band together and see what comes of it.
It's funny because originally my uncle mentioned to Brandy that I play guitar and all that stuff, and she was reluctant at first because at the time I was like, what was it, 14 or
yeah.
something like that. She's like, I don't know if I want a kid that young in the band and all that stuff.
Even though he was good, I saw that he was good, but
And he's pretty mature for his age too, even at 14, than most kids that age.
But I don't know. It was after a few practices or whatever that she finally was like, all right, you're in the band.
this
So.
kid's better than me. No.
Hey, you had the Beach Boys. I mean, the youngest members were like 13, and the oldest members were like 21 when they became big. And so it's like, sometimes young musicians, like Van Halen, Wolfgang Van Halen was like touring with him when he was 14 years old, and like it's a platinum selling rock band.
That's right. Yep. Yeah. Sometimes having youth in the some older, like myself being older, I'm more wiser and make good on the business side of and decisions, and the financial side of things. I'm better at that and help the band. And the young, he's good with all the technology and obviously the newer music, and he writes most of our music. Well, Brandy does as well. And
Primary.
but he primarily writes. I think I wrote lyrics to one song, but for the most part, he writes. So we have that young and an older mixed, which actually is beneficial to the band overall for everything. Plus, when we go on trips too, I could be his legal guardian because I'm his uncle. So
Yes. I guess it works out, right?
My sister,
Yep.
who's in the audience there, she gives me permission. I'll sign them over to you.
That's good. It's a lot easier, I guess, right?
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, makes it really convenient because when he was younger, obviously, if we play at bars, which we had,
Yeah.
like Bleachers in Bristol, we played there, and he's not supposed to be in there because he's underage. But if he's accompanied by an adult and leaves after we perform, there was no problems.
Yeah.
So
So very convenient.
it was. It worked out really well.
So how did you get into play music?
It was simple. My dad would play all the time on what I remember is on his bed, and I would just lay there. And so one day I just asked him if he could teach me how to play
So it was a guitar?
Yeah. And I think it was 6 months later, because he would play professionally too.
Yeah.
So I asked him if I could fill in for one of the songs that he used to play, because he used to play like gospel music.
Yes.
So, and I think it was 6 months later, he let me go and play, and then after that, I just kind of kept going.
Plus, her
So-
mom's a professional singer as
Really?
well. Yeah, gospel singer. And
So it's on both sides of your.
oh yeah,
Mhm.
she came.
It's kind of like a loaded deck. You kind of have to become a professional musician.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. She was born with it in her hand. So basically,
It's funny, she didn't even start singing until the band was first made, so she had no experience, and I've just seen her and watched her like grow like so much since we've started the band, and it's become to a point where she's really just expanded her range and her power in her voice, and it's fun to see that growth from where you first start.
yeah, and
looking
being
back
able to
onto that.
sing and play is even more challenging.
Especially the
and
way
she does it.
the way he creates music. So it's
Yeah.
like
It's very technical,
but it's
very-
good,
Yeah. So,
That's great. So let's talk about. So what was your first gigs? Where did you first when you first got a band together and you practiced with long enough? You're like, yeah, we're good enough to play in front of people. Where did you start playing first?
well, I don't know exactly what the first place was, but I know we played a lot at the Webster.
Yeah.
We actually won the Battle of the Bands in 2011. We're on the Vans Warped Tour
Awesome.
in 2011, and opened up for some big name bands like Devil Wears Prada and August Burns Red.
That's cool.
But we've played a lot of small venues as well, some bars, and we've even played as far as Virginia, where her mom has got us some jobs, and she's actually she has a small record label that signed us, and
That's great.
we have a studio. We went to a studio down there as well and recorded down there at Q Studios down in Virginia, Church Falls, right? Randy's Falls Church, Virginia, and we've done a recording there for our single, which my nephew wrote, "One Way Out."
That
And
was like 4 years ago.
yeah, it was a long
The
time.
one
But
that
that was
we're
our
gonna
basic.
play
Yeah,
is a
but
lot
that was our
newer.
beginning. How we
Yeah, our
first
beginnings.
started. That whole year was kind of like just doing stuff like that and going down to Virginia, Massachusetts. We played up in Vermont and New Hampshire and New York.
So-
And
So what's it like when you went on the Warped Tour, right?
Yeah.
You want to like Battle of Bands. You go to the Warped Tour. Things are looking pretty great. So what happens after that? What have you done? Like, have you been continue? Like, obviously the Warped Tour is a huge venue, and unless you have like a big single, you're not going to be anything more than an opening act there. Like, so
Right.
what after that? Where did you go? Like, was there any letdown from going from a 20,000 person venue to going back to bars, or was it just you realized that this is part of becoming a band?
Well, I mean, really, there's crowds that we've played in front of some big crowds before
Yeah.
and some smaller crowds before, and for me personally, I don't know if I'm speaking for everyone, but it really depends on the energy of the crowd. I
Yeah, I
can
was
be
gonna say
playing in front of,
perspective. Yeah.
1,000 people and no one's moving, or I can play in front of 100 people and they're all going crazy and throwing their hands in the air, and those are the
That's
best
true,
shows.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually played one last year. It was in Trumbull, right?
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
And
Yeah.
that show is probably the best show I've ever played, and the crowd was just crazy, and there's a decent amount of people there, but it was a lot of fun.
I feel like the smaller shows, I don't know, for me
Just
are
gonna
like
say, yeah,
the
that's-
best, the intimate, more intimate, because
They're
people
more
are
intimate,
more
but they're
like.
sometimes more.
Energetic.
Yeah, they're energetic, but they're also kind of more intimidating sometimes because you're playing more of a smaller crowds.
You
so.
can recognize everybody's face in the crowd.
Yeah, and you're just like, everyone's really
Like, where do I
focused on
look?
you
I
more
don't-
than talking with other people and, looking around and you get your buddies there and you're joking around and stuff. So sometimes those are sometimes a little bit more scarier, but
You can notice when you break the guitar string or something
yeah,
like
or
that.
you make a mistake. Yeah, you're like, uh-oh, I hope they didn't hear that.
They're right next to my amp. Oh,
Yeah. Especially when we played down in, what's the place in here? Oh, the Space. When we played down at the Space. It's a great venue there and a lot of fun, but it was very intimidating. And because sometimes the venue's small there and it's like everyone's focused right on you. So.
And it's sometimes awkward, as you're looking out into the crowd, you want to look at one person and they're like, why you keep looking at me, kind of thing. So you have to make sure you look at everyone.
So, what do you think is the best crowd you played to? What was, not to specifically name the place, but what describe what would be the worst crowd to play to?
People that don't move.
Yeah, those
They're
are the
just-
worst. You try to get them into it, and you're like, oh, I want to see you guys moving and blah blah blah, or make some noise, and they just don't.
I
say
can't really
anything or
talk
move.
though, because sometimes when I'm going, like if I see someone who has really good, guitar skill, whatever kind of skill, you are just kind of focusing on them,
Yeah.
so you're not necessarily rocking out because you're focusing. So I know that there are those people, but yeah, that's probably the hardest when people are just
Yeah.
standing
Just
there.
Don't,
you know?
You can beg them, and then they still don't move or whatever. But those are probably the worst or most awkward. I mean, I have fun playing every time I play, but as far as crowd interaction, the ones that have zero are the worst.
So, what's your favorite local venue to play?
I know we've always enjoyed playing the Webster.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was always
People
a
there.
fun
Top
venue.
floor or the bottom floor of the Webster?
It's the
Underground.
underground.
Okay.
Yeah.
we
Actually,
played
you'd be surprised that a lot of local bands that have played on the big stage actually like the smaller stage
Yeah.
better.
that. Probably because it's more intimate too, and,
Yeah.
and it's more
And I heard
personal.
sometimes the sound is
Yeah.
better there too
Yeah,
in
they-
the underground. But that's always a fun place to play. I love the
Mhm.
Webster. We know Rusty who books there, and he's always nice to us. And
Yeah.
the sound people are usually always great to us. So
As a kid that grew went to high school in the early 2000s, I graduated in 2004. There's something about the Webster. There's this charm when you listen to some crappy punk band play or some ska band that they knew how to play guitar, they knew how to play bass, they knew how to play drums. They didn't know how to play all the other instruments they tried to bring on stage, like the maracas or the steel drums. What are they doing? There's some sort of charm there about that place.
Yeah, there is. It's just unique, and that's one of our favorite places. And I can't
Mhm.
speak for these guys because they probably have
No,
other
that's
places.
it.
I mean, I enjoy the
No, the
Space.
Webster-
I mean,
the
that was
Space is
another
cool
place that
too,
was
yeah.
that was one of my favorites.
It's a nice, cool place. Has a great vibe and everything. So
Yeah.
that's a cool place.
Have you ever played a Cafe Nights at Cafe Night at New Haven?
No.
They
No.
call it the musicians' living room. I know a lot of people that play the Space will play there.
Yeah,
too.
we
It's-
played. Liffey's, is that what it's called?
Mhm.
Down
Yeah,
in New Haven,
Liffey's.
we played. Yeah, we played a venue down there, but eventually we'd like to get maybe to Toad's place. That would be really cool.
That's-
We've
that's-
gotten emails from them asking us to play, but I think people couldn't make it at that time or whatever. So, but I mean, we'll
That
play
probably
there
would be a
soon.
cool venue too.
I know the Stones played at the Toad's place. I know in the 60s and 70s that was
Oh,
before
yeah.
you did a big concert. You went there.
Absolutely, yeah. That's
Mhm.
that's a lot of some big name bands have played there for sure.
New Haven has some great history. Jim Morrison getting arrested for exposing himself on stage, that type of
Right.
stuff. It's a cool little college town with some cool history about music.
There
Uh,
is, yep.
So let's talk about technology, the proliferation of the growth of technology. Now anybody with an iMac can go record music. Has that made it easier for you to be a band, or has it made it more difficult because now every Joe Schmo that has an idea can record it? What do
Are
you
you
think?
talking about the technology in general, or recording stuff?
Well, I mean, I guess we could talk about social media and stuff like that. But I mean, I was specifically, it's now in theory you don't need a record company if you have enough. You don't even need that much money. If you have a couple $1,000, you can build a cheap recording studio in your house, right? So you can record something, and maybe somebody will notice it somewhere, and you can get big. But that, in the '60s, that was impossible. You had to tour until somebody found you. So I mean, do you think that's? I can't hear it ringing. We'll take the phone call in 20 seconds. Let me finish this question. So do you think that's hurt you because now there's more people that can record and people that probably shouldn't be recording, or do you think it's
Yeah,
helped you?
I mean, there's pros and cons to that.
Yeah.
there's definitely pros and cons. Technology-wise, yeah, you could record and get a decent sound and all that, but you still need an engineer to really mix it and do it professionally. I think.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many bands out there these days, and so many people trying to make it to the top that sometimes it can be really competitive. So you need quality recordings and stuff if you want to stick out from all the other bands out there. But as far as social media and stuff like that, that's something that helped us greatly, like YouTube, Facebook, all that stuff. That's how we made most of our fans, and that's how we keep them updated on stuff, and that's more of a blessing than a curse.
Yeah, and that's why we're here too.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys, Alan found us through
Kickstarter.
Yeah.
That's
So,
cool.
I mean,
Do you want to plug your Kickstarter now, or is it still going? Do you want to plug anything right now? Or you brought that up? Or?
yeah,
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. So how many? What's your video on YouTube? What's the most views you had on what video so far?
Our first single, One Way Out, there's something like almost 6,000 views on there. So that's got to be our most viewed, I think.
Do you monetize that? So you get a penny per click, so you have like a total like $60 for the video?
I don't. Do we do ads?
I don't think
know.
we did.
I don't think we did. And at that time that we released it, I don't know if they were really doing that yet or what. But no, I wish that would be nice.
We're on iTunes as well, isn't it?
Yeah, we have iTunes and all that
You
stuff.
could download the single on iTunes from iTunes. Yeah.
All right. I think we have a phone call.
Yeah, hi.
All right, Al, do you want to patch the phone call through?
I'm calling in for the Awakening Band. My name is Margie.
All right. Hello, Margie.
Yeah, I was just wondering, I'm a big fan of the Awakening. I've heard them play many times, and I love their single, and I follow them on Facebook. And I just would be excited to just ask them questions and, say hi, especially to Brian.
Brian, Margie says hello.
Oh, hi.
The band can't hear you, I don't think, right now.
No, it's not.
Here, I'm going to move my earpiece over to them.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second. We're still having technical difficulties. We're having our engineer work on it. But,
Hello.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, is this Brandy?
Yes.
Hi, Brandy. This is
Can you hear?
Margie.
Hello, Margie.
I'm so excited to talk to you. I'm such a big fan of your group. It's so awesome. Can you hear me?
Oh, now I
Yep.
can. Hi.
Can you hear me, Brandy?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I just wanted to tell you guys that I'm like a huge fan of your of the Awakening, and I follow you guys on Facebook, and I'm so happy and excited for you guys that you're actually being interviewed tonight.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thanks
Awesome,
for
thanks.
listening in.
Thank you for being a fan. We appreciate it. We need all the support we can get, so pass the word on to friends and family.
Yeah, I really hope that people are seeing this and start following you guys, because I think you have a really unique sound and a really good message.
All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate that. And, check us out on YouTube and Facebook and all the other social media sites.
Thank you for the support and the call, letting us know you're watching, and
thanks for running my show while I'm doing some technical difficulties. I apologize. I think we're going to hit, it's 8:30, let's hit a PSA, and let's come back and let's watch some of your music.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
All right.
Sounds great.
this is.
Thank you.
Are we starting the music now?
Are we,
Bye-bye.
Good night,
Bye.
Margie.
Night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we're gonna go to a break, I believe. Then we're gonna go to your music.
Alright. Well, the song that you're gonna hear is actually not even finished yet. It's a first mix of the song, but hope you guys like it. Anyways.
Are you giving up that slowly, letting the flames take you down?
Let's get back, Alan.
He's on a break now.
All right, we're back with The Awakening. I'm Joe Tyman, your host. We have actually, I think we have a question from our resident board member.
Yes.
What's your question to the band?
Well, since we've just been going over the PSA break, I was going to ask them what their thoughts were on the band of Godsmack.
Let's expand that. You're saying it's not a local band like Godsmack, which they're from like Worcester, Hate Breeds from Waterbury. What do you feel about the kind of local hard rock, heavy metal, hardcore scene?
Oh, actually, Howard Benson. No, wow, Howard Benson. What's his name? The former lead singer of Killswitch Engage used to live in Waterbury. Actually, my guitar teacher is friends with him. But yeah, he lives in Waterbury. Just as a side note.
Rob Zombie too lives in Connecticut.
Woodbury, actually.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Oh,
And
such
his wife's from Plainville. I live in Plainville.
Remember a while back he was having that issue with the skate park right near his house in the park next door? So he was in the headlines quite a bit.
Yeah. Yep. He goes to a lot of Wolfpack hockey games too. I've seen him there a few times.
Oh,
Which
really?
actually,
Yeah.
kind of with the whole Rob Zombie thing, like one of my films I was on, we actually worked with Michael Berryman, who's in a lot of Rob Zombie films, so I'm good friends with him.
Yeah, because he does a lot of that too. Right? Yeah, he's big into the.
Yeah, he's into like the slasher flicks.
Yes.
So have you had a chance to meet Rob Zombie or?
I didn't personally know. No. I'd like to.
Yeah. So have you met anybody? Any of the famous Connecticut musicians? Like, have you met Michael Bolton by any chance?
No, I like him. He's a good guy.
Yeah, he was.
You met Mike Mushak from Stain.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, I forgot
Guitars
about
for
that.
Stain.
Yeah, he actually. I own a barber shop,
Okay.
and he actually used to come to my shop
That's
because
cool.
he lived in Farmington. I don't know if he still does, but yeah, he came in there a few times, so I got to meet him. That's true. Yeah, good for remembering that. 'Cause I almost forgot met him.
So
He's a great guy too. They're from Springfield.
Springfield, yes. There's a few bands from Springfield. Yeah.
Well, actually,
From Westfield State, there's some band that came out of there. Like they're either late 40s or 50s now. I forgot.
Yeah, Joe. The old one of the guys that used to work here in the control room, Eric Schrader.
Yeah.
He actually the other day got to meet with Rivers Cuomo from Weezer. They got in L.A.
You got to preface this. The former producer or editor for the station was in a very successful local band called Roverdale, and they toured for a while. They had a pretty successful CD. So he knows famous people. So occasionally he likes to drop that.
Now he's out in L.A. Yeah, he
Nice.
just posted that on Facebook. I'm like,
River Cole is also from Connecticut. Also.
Yes.
I went to school with somebody that went pro. His name is Brett Bradshaw, and he played for an '80s band called Faster Pussycats. He was the drummer for them. So
Some of the '80s bands have great names.
yeah,
I think it's the '60s, when something like the bands that start with the something like the Wonder Kids or something like that. Like those were the greatest bands. But the '80s, they have some like especially like the hair and glam bands. Like they come up with some great names. I think we have another call to the studio.
Yeah.
Hello, you're on Tyman On Tap on WPAA.TV. Who do we have the pleasure of speaking to tonight?
Yeah, just a quick question. I was wondering, guitar gear.
I'm sorry, can you repeat yourself? We had a
Guitar
kind of.
gear, I was wondering what they were using for gear.
Oh, okay. Well, me personally, I use all Paul Reed Smith guitars. I have a Tremonti, I have a Chris Henderson signature model, and I have a Mira. And my cab setup, I have a PV 6505 Plus running through a Marshall 1960A cabinet.
I use. Are you good? Okay. PRS and Gibson, and I use for head and cab. I use Mesa Boogie.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm the bass player. I use All Music Man. I got an Ibanez, and I use Ampeg head and Mark bass cabs.
So you guys are into the Fenders?
I mean, I love Fenders. Fenders are great guitars, but I mean, for our kind of style of music, they don't really just kind of fit in our style. I mean, I'm sure you can get great sounds out of them, but I don't know, they just don't. They just don't do it for me in this style. Sorry.
It's not like I'm a Fender person. Like I don't own a Fender.
They're great guitars, but I mean, it's not my thing.
We're a fan of Telecaster than the Strat. It's just me. But
Yeah.
so you're an Ibanez person. Did you play Ibanez guitars before, or are you just like?
I have one Ibanez
Yeah.
bass 5-string that I enjoy, and it's a neck through, and it's a really good bass. But primarily is I have all music bands.
Yeah.
They're solid, and a lot of the pro musicians out there use them.
Especially in rock and all those genres, they usually rock the Music Man. So. Yeah. And also, with PRS guitars, a lot of the modern rock bands are going to those nowadays, and I love them. So hopefully we answered your question right. Thanks for the call.
Yeah, thank you.
So let's talk about amps. So, there's the old tube amps, which if you can get now, either like 100 years old or extremely expensive new versions of the tube amps.
Mhm.
Then you have like the more digital amps, and you have like the digital amps with modification that make it sound like a tube amp. So do you guys use digital amps, or do you use any tube amps, or?
Tube amps all the way. Like
Mine's both. Mine's solid state, and so I got the best of both worlds. I have solid state and it's tubed. It's both.
I have like a little Line 6 for practice stuff and all that, but like if I'm gonna record or play live, I'm gonna use my tube amp. I'm not a huge fan of the digital stuff. So
What's your favorite pedal?
I'm not really a pedal guy, to be honest. I'm like one of those guys that just plugs straight into the amp and into the guitar, so I wouldn't be the person to ask. Brandy.
Mine is probably the Keeley compression. That's probably my favorite. I had to think. I'm like, but yeah.
That's cool.
She also has your Line 6 delay pedal.
Mm-hmm.
What's that one
That
called?
one's good too. Not DL. I don't remember right off the
Some-
top of my
those are
head,
good.
but yeah, those
I
are
might
good
have
too.
to get one of those though.
Those are good too.
Over Christmas, my cousin showed me the Legend of Zelda pedal. It makes it really fuzzy. It's like you're like playing a video game.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
It's pretty cool.
That's funny.
So obviously, as a bass player, you don't really.
I have a few pedals actually.
Really?
Now I just I never did it first for a while, but I noticed the louder and the heavier we play, sometimes you need. I have a compressor pedal.
Yeah.
I have a tuner. I got a Boss TU3 tuner.
That's probably my favorite pedal.
Which is a necessity, when you're on stage to keep tuned and make sure you shut the whole system down with the pedal.
Yeah.
So you're not everybody doesn't want to hear you tuning. Then I have a distortion pedal, a heavy metal distortion pedal that I'm just trying to dial it in and get it to mix with the music that we play, and so it's not overpowering, so it doesn't distort it too much. And I have a noise suppressor, which is good, so you don't get that any overtones and through the cab, and sometimes it sounds when you're playing that loud and low, it gets muddy.
Yeah.
So this cuts all that out, and that's pretty much all I have.
So you mentioned that you had a 5-string. Do you primarily play 5-string or 4-string? Have you dealt with any 6 strings?
No. 5 is more than enough because we do a lot of drop tuning.
Yeah.
So therefore, with the 5-string, you don't have to drop as much. Only one step or half step down. Versus the 4, you're almost going 4 steps down because you're in E. So you're dropping too low, and sometimes you have to adjust your bridge accordingly. That's why when we play, we all have several guitars because we have different tunings, and we want to have them set up that way so that you're not getting buzzing and stuff. So you have to set the bridge up and the neck up a little different so that you don't get that buzzing from the frets.
And you don't want to sit there on stage tuning 5 times.
That too,
and
that's a
waiting.
key. Yeah, you're wasting too much time.
We've only had, when we first started, we had one guitar or whatever, and we're like, it just got obnoxious. So eventually, over time, we got more guitars, so we just swap them out and all that stuff.
It's quicker to do that because then, by the time you tune for 3 different songs, you lose a whole song. Because like when we played the Webster, like I was saying, you only get 5 songs.
They're pretty dedicated about that. If you
20 minutes, that's it. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you're done. It's like, so if you can get as many songs as you can, so if you can save time, just grab another instrument and go.
Funny story, real quick. We were playing, I think it was at Analyphies or something like that, and we started a song off. It was our first song, and then he was in the total wrong tuning.
Yeah, so I just tuned it as they were playing. I'm like,
was it you, or did Brandy
She
went
started to,
over
then I
and
grabbed
just
it, and
like,
I'm
Yeah, because we were so tight. We were literally like this, so I was able to, because he
they
couldn't
stuck
hear
us in a
it,
little
so.
cubicle. I mean, it was actually like a little jetty that they probably had a little
So
intimate table
tiny.
for somebody that was getting engaged or something. They stuck us in there, and we were like, I mean, my bass neck, my head of my bass was actually almost hitting the cymbal of our drummer.
Yes.
I mean, that's how tight it was. It was
and,
ridiculous.
She went over. She's on whoop, and thank God, like it was the exact tuning. It was.
They only had to
it
drop
was, like,
a half
perfect.
step.
Yeah.
It was a half step off, so we just had
But,
to turn it down.
Yeah, we play in 3 different tunings usually. C sharp, C, and B are our tunings. Because some people are like, "Oh, well, why do you have to drop tune so low and stuff?" But it's all a matter of range and her vocals and stuff. If we go too high, it's gonna be like and so.
I just heard your song, and it sounds like that you're the singer of that song, correct? Like it was you.
He's back up. Yeah, he does a little bit of screaming and stuff.
Is that what
That's-
you're doing, Steve?
Yeah,
That was-
She's the lead singer.
Okay.
He's one screaming.
That's funny because we get that a lot.
I know.
because-
I think it's my range or something.
yeah,
I don't know.
mean, she's black. I mean, I'm just gonna throw that out there. She's black. And usually when you think of like a girl band or a female fronted band, you think of all high pitched
Yeah.
and really. But
I think she
she's
still sounds like a girl on it, but some
me
people
personally, but
think that they
a
could
lot
be
of
a guy.
guys.
but she
I'll be honest. It didn't sound like
a manly guy.
a manly guy.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
it was
yeah.
kind of a
In
feminine guy.
between.
So
Yeah.
it was, I didn't want to insult you by saying
Oh, no.
say that note that you were singing, but yeah.
I do the screaming that you
Yeah.
heard, and then I have like one part after the chorus for like one line, but yeah, she gets that a lot, and I think it's because first of all her range, and then she doesn't have that like high pitched voice. It's kind of like more I
Yeah.
guess in a sense. I guess that's her black soul or something going on in there, but yeah, we get that a lot.
Do you guys use harmonies at all, or do you just?
Sometimes, I mean, for the record, we did, if we have a harmony that we really like, we'll throw it in there.
Yeah.
But other than that, we try to keep it, simple as possible, only if it's going to add a lot,
Mhm.
But on the record, we didn't do, like, crazy harmonies or anything like that.
All right, so I mean, we only have like probably 6 more minutes, so let's wrap some things up. Let's just tell people how they can find you. If somebody wants to like go and buy, I don't know why he's out here. Wants to go buy your music, how do they find your music? If somebody wants to go see where you're next playing, like when are you next playing? By the way, are you playing anytime soon?
Well, right now, we are in search of a drummer, but we are also working on our album and all that stuff, and we're getting that together. So we're not, doing nothing. We're going to try and see if we can play, like, acoustic shows, too. So you can check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/TheAwakeningTBF. You can find us on YouTube, youtube.com/TheAwakeningRock, I think.
I don't even remember. This is
So
bad.
there's so many.
We will we
So
will
bad.
when we edit this, we'll put it
Thank
on the
you.
screen.
Okay,
people
thank
can
you.
Find where it is.
But our website, if anything, which has all the links to everything, is theawakeningrocks.com. You can find us
rocks,
there.
Like you guys rock or like multiple rocks.
No,
That's the
like
end
the
of it?
style of music, yeah.
Awakening rock
With an
No,
S.
S.
With
an
an S,
rock.
yeah,
Yes,
rocks.
yes, yes.
Mhm.
Okay.
We're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff. So come find us, and we'd love to hear from you and hear what you think of our music. And yeah,
All right. So do you guys ever drop any any of your demos on your social media so people can hear what you're working on, or do you just kind of wait till it's all done and set it out there?
well, I mean, the song that I don't know if you guys are playing it.
Yeah.
When is that? Okay. The song that you heard is actually not finished yet,
Yeah.
so you can kind of consider it as that. But it depends. Usually, we like to wait till things are finished. But sometimes we'll throw in like little clips of stuff, just to keep them interested and involved and everything. So once in a while, if we have like a rough clip of something, we'll post it on Facebook and YouTube and all that stuff, so people can hear what we're up to.
You know, the Beatles, like they have a bunch of recorded stuff that they never released, and if they never release it, recorded music has a 50-year copyright. If you release it, it has a 75-year. So over the next, I guess, 6 years, they're going to start releasing all the Beatles stuff that they'd recorded, never released. So it's occasionally smart to put your stuff out there that you
Yep.
recorded, just so you can hold on to it for a little bit longer.
It's funny because when we made the record, which was just a year ago, looking back, in our early stages, like we wanted to record a record so bad and get our music out there. But now looking back and seeing how far we've grown, we're kind of like really happy that we didn't record when we did, because we've grown so much and we've gotten so much better. we look back at the old stuff. It's like, what are you thinking and all that stuff.
But
It's
isn't
fun
every
to-
band like that? Like all these bands have like these big hits, and like their first big hit, they become famous after it. And they just hate playing that song when they go to shows. You know what I mean?
Yeah. and one thing for us that we're trying to find out and experimenting with is what songs work live and what ones don't, because you can play a song that on the record is going to sound amazing, but it doesn't connect with the audience in a live setting, So we're always adjusting set lists and all that stuff, seeing what works and what flows the best.
Okay. Well, all right. So I think we're close to running out of time. So this is Tyman On Tap. This is The Awakening. I guess we have a couple more minutes. So let's we'll go. So let's just we'll run through who everybody is with The Awakening one more time, and we'll see you next week. So
I'm Brian. I play guitar and do backup vocals / screaming.
I'm Mark. I'm the bass player.
Brandy, vocals and guitar.
Really
and
good.
thank you for having us. I want to
Yes,
make sure I
thank
said
you.
that.
thanks for
It
dealing
was
with
a lot
this
of fun.
It's
a lot of
okay. I
fun.
know you guys got new equipment and all that stuff. We're trying to figure it out. But
I have no
it was
clue what's
fun.
going on.
We always, even when we're playing on stage, we sometimes have technical
It
difficulties.
was a lot of
that
fun.
happens.
It made it relaxing. Just,
Yeah, it was
very
fun.
relaxing.
It's like being right at home.
Yep.
It's a good time.
Well, here's an interesting story. Paul McCartney was playing at the new stadium in City Field, and a bunch of water was rained the night before, and they are right as they're setting up the dressing for the stage, and wind came and blew all the water off and fried his guitar in the middle of the concert. And just had to go
Nice.
get a new one.
There's actually a funny story.
He
real
was going to
quick.
electrocute it. I was understand Paul McCartney.
Right?
We were playing a show, okay, and in New York, and we have a whole light setup and all that stuff, and we have fog, the
Fog machine.
fog machine.
Yeah.
And
You have bubbles?
so
No, Lawrence Welk.
No
no
bubbles.
Lawrence Welk stuff.
but we were playing, and for the lights to, we have lasers and all that stuff. So for the laser to show, you need fog and all that. We were blasting the place with fog, and the fire alarms
Yeah.
went off.
You got
And
it.
Only because the film Rhode Island, we set the alarm off like 20
yeah.
times during production.
Yeah,
the
we
fog
had the-
machine just do it like that.
Yep.
Yeah, fire department was there.
And basically,
cleared the whole place up.
the fire trucks came. Woo, woo, we had to stop the show and stuff, and we were so nervous that the sprinklers were gonna go off and ruin all our equipment.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
The chaos from that could be more damaging than the actual fire, smoke, whatever it is.
Yeah.
All right, so everybody, we're running out of time. Next week we have Bobby O. We're gonna have two people who interview each other. And we're gonna see how that goes. I'm listening to the WTF podcast when he interviews Larry King for inspiration. So we'll go from there. All right, thanks to our lovely guest. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for dealing with this. We're gonna have we edit this. We'll have all the names of where you can find them in this shot, and we're gonna go out. Have a good night, everybody.